All right, so a little bit of information just to kind of get us started here. A little bit about Jonas Club Software before we get into talking specifically about online ordering. Jonas Club Software really is a makeup of a lot of different brands, about 13 different brands as it stands today, made up of back office software, websites and mobile solutions, and then value-added services and products. So, and we're actually about to expand to another one as well with the upcoming announcement of an employee scheduling application. So we're obviously excited to bring that into the fold. But as you can see, our portfolio is ever growing, and obviously we want to be able to provide everything from back office to member-facing applications and products to your club and your members. Really, this slide kind of emphasizes our philosophy on how we look at our business, and that is that we want to be able to service your entire club. So we really look at private clubs as a number of small businesses that have to operate under one roof together. And, you know, we want to offer applications and software for every area of your business. So everything from, you know, managing a marina to your sports facilities, your golf, your tennis, your spa and fitness, accounting, point of sale, food and beverage, every aspect of that, we want to be there for your clubs. And for lack of a better term, we want to be that one throat to choke. So we really focus on designing integrated software so that you only have to handle information one time. And we're all about allowing you to maintain service levels and experience levels throughout all of your different departments with your technology that you offer. So that's really us in a nutshell. As I mentioned before, just a couple of housekeeping items. The lines are muted today. We'd like you to submit your questions that you might have in the QA box, and we will do a QA session at the end. And finally, the session is being recorded, and a copy will be made available after the session via an email. So that'll be sent out later today or tomorrow, and it will have a link back to view the session. So if any of your colleagues are not able to make it today, you'll definitely be able to share this with them and definitely spread the word. So just a little quick bit about us. On the line today with me, I have Robert Lamanna, Product Manager for all of our online suite of products. Rob, if you'd like to say hi.
Good afternoon, everybody.
And I am Trevor Kuglin, I'm Vice President of Marketing with Jonas. Between the two of us, Rob and I, we have about 30 years experience at Jonas. We both started at the company back in 2005, I believe, right, Rob?
Correct.
Yeah, it's been a while. So obviously, you know, Rob being the product manager, he has a great deal more knowledge than I have, but I wanted to walk everyone through first kind of high level what online ordering is all about and why we built it and deployed it, and then talk about a little bit of what has been happening in the last few months when it comes to our products and what Rob has really been leading the charge on. So online ordering is obviously pretty big business. I think we all know this. You know, 60% of U.S. consumers order, delivery, or take out at least once a week. And 20% of all U.S.-based Starbucks transactions are being made through their mobile app. Now, these are pre-COVID numbers. And obviously, since COVID has hit and the shutdown has happened, many businesses have really gotten rid of cash transactions and a lot of in-person service delivery and have gone to entirely online model. So it's a service that's just been exponentially increased in the last few months. And I mean, this is a service that was already large. I mentioned Starbucks here. Until 2019, Starbucks was the single largest online payment platform in the world. So it's really an incredible thing to think of because Starbucks is obviously a single business. But they rely so heavily on their online ordering platform on mobile devices that they were the largest payment provider. It was only when Apple Pay eclipsed them in 2019 that they became number 2. So obviously from a food service standpoint, this is something that people are used to doing. And, you know, it goes beyond food service as well. It goes into merchandise. You know, on any given day, I'm ordering a coffee from Starbucks and I may be ordering something on Amazon as well. I've got a young son, so we get an awful lot of deliveries here at my house. So our online ordering application was really designed to optimize use both in a web browser on your member's home computer or laptop, as well as via the mobile phone. So it's mobile optimized, and it's also available via the Clubhouse Online mobile app for your club. So both great experiences, but obviously we knew that if we were going to offer online ordering and mobile ordering, it needed to be mobile optimized. So we came to the table with that out of the gate in 2019, and obviously it's been successful for us so far. In general, the online ordering process is pretty straightforward. Unlike some other online ordering systems that are out there, we are fully integrated to the point of sale system. So when a member submits an order online or via their mobile app, it comes directly into your club's point of sale system, the Jonas point of sale, and the chit is then either queued and can be monitored for delivery to the kitchen, or can be automatically fired to the kitchen upon receipt. So you know, this is a great feature because obviously now everything gets tracked through your point of sale system. You're able to track and see everything that's happening, and there's oversight in every way. So it's just another mechanism to allow those orders to reach the actual point of sale system at your club. You also have the ability to configure optional notifications. So if your club has our mobile app, you can configure notifications via push directly to the home screen of your member's phone. Or you can easily configure email notifications as well as order confirmations to your members. Now, when we released this in 2019, we really designed this for, you know, the current mindset. So looking at underserviced areas in a club, maybe the halfway house so somebody can grab a drink or a sandwich, poolside, someone ordering a drink, and then, you know, to-go ordering, because that was obviously becoming more and more popular in 2019. And then something happened, right? COVID hit, clubs everywhere shut down, and in an instant, clubs were looking for every opportunity that they could to continue bringing in some sort of revenue, but more importantly, looking for ways that they could service their community and their members. So what ended up happening almost immediately was this, you know, a light bulb went off, and we saw creativity and innovation from clubs and their service delivery via online ordering like we had never anticipated. So immediately, we saw clubs jumping into full-scale delivery services. So offering almost an Uber Eats style of online ordering. We saw grocery ordering and pickups. So clubs using their third-party providers to allow members to place grocery orders when things were in short supply at regular grocery stores. Retail purchases, so clubs really expanding their online ordering capabilities to function in the retail settings of the club as well. And then wine ordering. Lots of clubs doing wine ordering and wine sales through online ordering for their members. So like I said, immediately we saw things change, and clubs started looking at new and innovative ways that they could service their members, which was really great. What this meant to us is that we also had lots of requests for people to use the system in ways that we hadn't originally intended it for, we hadn't anticipated. And that's really where Rob came into play and his team, because they acted pretty quick, and over the course of the last 3 months have been really hard at work delivering a number of new features for our online ordering platform, which are pretty exciting based on some of the changes in the way the clubs are doing business on a day-to-day basis. So with that preamble, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to unshare the presentation. I'm going to give control over to Rob, and Rob is actually going to take us on a great walkthrough of online ordering itself.
Trevor, have you made me the presenter?
Just doing that now.
Okay, I see that now. Okay, good. All right, you should be able to see my online ordering outlets on my demo environment. So I have 2 outlets here. So as Trevor said, what we noticed was after we deployed this to many clubs over the course of the first few months of this year, there was a lot of feedback that came back, a lot of which was related to, you know, pandemic related issues that clubs wanted to stay open and wanted to service their members, and they needed a way to do that without having any contact with anyone at the club. So online ordering became a great way to do that. So as Trevor said, we did see a number of scenarios where people were using grocery delivery, wine ordering, and the like. And we've made a number of changes over the course of the last month and a half or so to improve the product to handle a number of scenarios. What we're going to cover largely today is the ability for a delivery option, the ability to order ahead, and the ability to ask some questions of the people that are placing the orders, in addition to just what would you like and how would you like to receive it. So I'll cover all those options, as well as a number of other small things that we've done throughout that time to make the user experience better and improve the amount of information that is being transmitted to the club when a member does submit an order. So if we go to the grill outlet, upon clicking on it, I'm in an order ahead scenario. This outlet allows people to place orders in advance of the current time. So when we originally launched it, it was basically you place an order, it'll be ready as soon as possible. And then when it is ready, you can go into point of sale or the queue and send a notification to them, say, hey, Mr. Smith, your order is ready for pickup. Now we've added the ability for you to order ahead by specifying when you would like to receive your order. So the first thing you can do is specify an order type. Now the order type is important because that's going to determine the turnaround time. So you're going to set a prep time in your management system back office operation. You're going to be able to say for each order type, it has a different turnaround time. So if to go is just a matter of them showing up to pick it up, then that's going to have a shorter pickup time than if it were delivery or if it were poolside or potentially curbside. It's basically the same thing as to go. So you select the order type first. So if I say delivery, now we introduced this first. This probably came out at middle of May. It was the ability to specify an address to which your order is to be delivered. So to accommodate those scenarios where members weren't coming to the club to pick things up, and instead the clubs needed to deliver those to the members' homes. Upon selecting delivery, it's going to source my addresses we have on file on the website and allow you to select among those. And if you're not at home, you can even specify a different delivery address. So if the address for whatever reason is not on your member record in the club's management system, you would have the ability to enter a different address. But easy enough, I can say I want it delivered to my home address. And then when do I want to receive it, now or in the future? So now remains that same as soon as possible mentality, whereas future allows you to specify a future time on the current date. So I could leave it as today at 1:15 or some point thereafter, and it'll show you all the available times starting from the current time plus the prep time. So if it takes 45 minutes or an hour, we're going to move that first available time to the first quarter hour time that is available. So if I say I want it at 2 o'clock, I'll set my order to be received at 2 o'clock. I can also select future days. This is controlled, again, by you guys in configuring your outlet to say how far in advance you're going to allow orders for that particular outlet. In this case, it's allowing 7 days, so I can see all the way out till next Thursday as to when I want to place an order. Again, you can set it to whatever you want. You can set it to 1 day. You can set it to 2 weeks. I'm not sure. In some scenarios, it makes more sense. You know, if you're doing grocery pickup, you may want it later than if you're ordering a simple meal or something like that. One other important thing to note with the order ahead, now your outlet does not need to be open in order to receive orders. So what will happen is the members will show up on the outlet page. It'll say that it's currently not open, but you can click on it and proceed with an order for a future date. The now option would be disabled because the outlet was not open. So this satisfies scenarios where a member gets the idea that they want to do something. The outlet's not yet open yet. They want to order lunch. They can order the lunch, and the times available to them would again be starting from the open time of that outlet, add the prep time you've configured, and that would give them the first available time. So if there's nobody doing prep in advance of the open, you're at least still afforded that prep time to pick and pack or cook the order and then have it ready for them at that particular time when they've requested it. So if I set my time, we'll just say today at 2 o'clock. Upon hitting continue, the member goes into their usual experience, which is they're now encountering the menu, and they can select the items they'd like to receive. So I can pick a house salad, add my dressing, and indicate that I don't want any mushrooms, and add that item to my cart. I can also bump up the quantity. So if I wanted 2 identical, then I would get 2 house salads with French dressing and no mushrooms. I can then proceed through the rest of my order and say, again, I want a New York steak. And these are all sales items from your existing system with all the prep options that you've already built on them. So you don't need to recreate things. You can use the existing sales items you have with all the prep options that are already assigned to them, and members will need to complete them based on your configuration. So a lot of times when you set them up, you can say there's a minimum or a maximum, and this will enforce those rules as well. One thing I have noticed in doing a lot of the initial implementations of this is that clubs will often have more server-centric prep options. So sometimes it may make sense to take a look at those and think about how they're going to be presented to a member. So in a server-centric scenario, you'll just have a bunch of buttons all over the screen, and the servers know what they have to select in order to order a New York steak. But for a member, it's better for them to have more confined, more stepped process to make sure that the entrees are a separate set of preps, the temperature are a separate set of preps. You don't have one set of preps called steak in which the server knows to pick, I need to pick one side, I need to pick one temperature, and then I can submit the order. So for members, it's better to have them more siloed so that they can understand each thing they're selecting and be restricted accordingly. So I can say I want a baked potato and I want it medium rare. And when I hit add to cart, it's going to add that to my cart. So as a member, when I'm ready to submit my order, I can click on the cart to check out, and it'll present me with all my options. I can increase quantities, remove items, edit items if necessary if the preps are not right. If there were additional price preps, those would be listed here and they would be summed in the total. But as a member, if I wanted to say, oh, you know what, I don't want it for today at 2 o'clock, I can revisit that order preferences screen and change the date now by hitting that edit button and saying, I want it for 7 p.m. on the 19th instead, and update that. And I'll return to the cart with that updated information. My delivery address is still in there. Anything I want to modify as far as delivery is concerned, or delivery time, or order type, or my address, I can hit this edit button and it'll allow me to do so. Any notes I need to add here, I can add further information. Again, these are just going to be tacked onto the top of the chit and will be presented to whomever is responsible for doing it, for processing that order once the order is sent to point of sale. So an important note here, as far as future orders are concerned, all of these are going to go to the queue. So instead of them going directly to prep printers and printing off and having you to have to manage those and order them accordingly so that the kitchen doesn't prep them 2 days prior to their actually being available, they're going to be put into the queue, which you may or may not be using today, but that is available to everyone. All future orders go to the queue, and then someone will go in and monitor the queue and push those orders to the prep printers and point of sale at the time when necessary. So upon hitting submit order, that order is going to be sent to the back office. I'm going to get a confirmation on screen indicating everything that I've ordered, and the back office will process that accordingly. Like I said, someone's going to monitor the queue and then fire those orders when necessary. Probably tomorrow at some time around 6 o'clock would be an appropriate time. But again, that's a management step the club will handle, because what we don't want to do is fire those orders to the prep printers too far in advance of when they actually need to be picked and packed or cooked. What I want to do is illustrate some of the other options we've also built into it, and I'll go into my halfway house to show you. So I'm just going to do a different order type this time. I'm going to say poolside delivery. So we've added 3 new order types in the past month and a half. Delivery, which I've already illustrated to you, and then we have 2 other ones that we've added, curbside and on-premise. So curbside, we saw a huge change in the way clubs were doing meals to go and such, and they were doing a lot of curbside pickup. So in those sorts of scenarios, we've offered a specific option. You can rename any of these order types anything you want, but in a curbside scenario, you could ask a question like, please indicate the make, model, and license plate number of your vehicle. In the poolside scenario, what I've done is asked a question, please indicate a chair or cabana number. So you have the ability to ask a question based on order type where you need further information. And this is a mandatory field. If I try to continue without it, it'll indicate that I need to indicate the chair or cabana number before I can proceed. So I can say chair 21, and then it'll allow me to proceed with my order. So for any order type, whatever it may be, pickup, to go, delivery, eat-in, curbside, on-premise, you can ask one question of them for more information so that it's clearer as to where the food needs to go, or any other question you might need to ask. So think about a delivery scenario. You may want to ask, to which door should we deliver it? Is it front door, back door? Any manner of those options that you may encounter with a different order type. So upon hitting continue, I'm going to be taken to the halfway house ordering menu. So what we also received in terms of feedback was that for some outlets, the menus were very large. And especially in a mobile scenario, there would be a lot of scrolling that needed to take place. So what we allowed you to do is at the outlet level, specify whether you wanted the menus expanded or collapsed by default. So basic behavior is that they're going to be expanded, but you can say they're going to be collapsed. In a collapse scenario, this is what we're going to see, and the member will always have the ability to expand or collapse them by touching these chevrons beside each category. So if I expand one, I can expand all, and I can have it just like it would have been before, or if I don't need to see the snacks part, I can close that off. Again, same process members can add. They want 2 Cokes, they want 2 Italian sausages, and again, we're still requiring the same sort of prep options before I submit it to the cart. And then now when I hit the cart, another thing that we got in feedback was I want to suppress the notes. Sometimes my members are using the notes incorrectly. They're providing information about prep options they want to change as opposed to putting those on the item, and I don't know which item they're indicating. So we decided if you want to suppress notes for a given outlet, you can check a box in the outlet setup, and that will prevent people from seeing those notes online. And again, you can still modify this. Oh, I'm not at chair 21. I'm actually at cabana 4. So you can add that information in. And again, upon submitting that order, it's placed for now, so it'll behave however you have your outlet set up. So your outlet can be either set up to send items directly to the prep printers or alternatively send all orders to the queue. This is an order for now, so that'll behave according to the outlet setup. So if you said send directly to preps, because it's for a now order, we're going to send that and fire that to the prep printers. If, however, it was a future order, it would be sent to the queue irrespective of how you had your outlet set up. So just remember to keep that in mind. But behavior is identical in that the order is sent over and you guys will deal with it accordingly. When it's ready, I can flag that and it'll send a notification to Roger Smith on his mobile app to say, hey, Roger, your order 88000266 is now available for pickup at the halfway house. And they can go off and get it. So these features are all available in the latest version of Jonas Club Management, which is 2020, which is available on the support site today. And similarly, if you're an Encore client, they are available in version 20.6.10 of Encore, which has already been sent out to all clients over the past 2 weeks or so. So all of these features are currently available, but just to reiterate, if you're a Jonas Club Management client, you need to be on version 2020. And if you're not already using what is our advanced release, it's probably 3 or 4 months away from going into general release, you would need to contact our support group to get added to that list so that you will have the ability to upgrade to 2020. The good news is product updates are all pretty much the same these days. Everyone has to be out of the system. It's going to take a bit of time. So whether you're just upgrading from one version of 2019 to another or upgrading from our 2019 to 2020, it's the same experience. So there's really no additional effort required to move to 2020 from 2019. And again, Encore, as long as you're on the most current version, 20.6.10 or 20.6.11, all of these order ahead, delivery, order type prompts, all of that functionality is included in those versions. So you should be able to accommodate these changes if you want to take advantage of them relatively easily without, like I said, too much effort. And that will complete the product walkthrough portion of the presentation. I'll hand it back to Trevor, and we'll probably be going through some Q&A.
Yeah, so I am just going to take the presenter role back here and reshare my presentation. So as Rob mentioned, that concludes the product tour. We've got some great questions in the Q&A section. So I will hand control back over to Rob here at the end during our Q&A session. Just a couple more things I wanted to cover off before we wrap this up. So obviously, big benefits to your clubs here: member convenience, service while at the club, and it definitely streamlines the ordering process. So as I mentioned earlier, we just saw tremendous demand for this product as soon as the shutdown happened. I think we've taken over 200 clients live on this application within the last 2.5 months or so. So great demand for it, and we pretty much anticipate that this demand is going to continue because it's now just becoming an expected part of the daily reality of most clubs. So with that, we are going to open it up for QA in just a second. Let's see here. So is there the ability to restrict menu items to a specific day? So for example, a curbside menu only available for one day? Rob, you may be muted.
Sorry about that. It may be restricted to, you can do it, however, not with a restriction on a given outlet. It would be a schedule set up for the outlet, so you'd only make it available certain days. That's the way we can handle it right now. There's no way to say only make this outlet available, or I don't want to allow ordering except on Thursday. So it would be, you schedule it to say it's only open on Thursdays from this point forward until some point in the future.
Okay, great. Question from Jessica O'Hare here. Where in the back end do you actually choose to have the menu collapsed?
It's in the outlet setup. There should be a flag. I'm thinking that option may not be available if you're an Encore client. I will investigate that and get back to you on that. That may be coming very soon, but let me investigate further.
So a good question here from Logan. Do we have any plans to allow chits to be settled automatically?
Nothing is go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I do believe that was a part of the consideration when we first built that, and we made a conscious decision not to go that direction, I believe.
Correct. I think if anything, we would look to present the chit to the member before allowing them to decide whether they want a member charge. So it'd be something where we would send a notification to the app or to the web browser where they could then view the chit and then approve the final charge, much like they were signing off on a ticket in the dining room, as opposed to just automatically closing it without them knowing. So, I mean, right now the process is the ticket goes to point of sale. There are some advantages to not closing it automatically. When the person is ready to close it, they can fire off that order notification to say, hey, your order is ready for pickup. But I think if anything, the route we would go is to give them a final state of approval where the member can see the chit, approve it, and then we would close it to member charge. But I don't think we're looking at automating that process per se.
Okay. Question here from Kevin. Are you able to limit the amount of orders in a given time slot? For example, one order every 4 minutes.
I don't know if we would do it as granularly as 4 minutes, but yes, there were discussions about putting thresholds or throttling on timeframes. However, in a decision to get some, that's going to take a little more work, and we were trying to be as responsive as possible in this time. We don't know how long this time is going to exist, but in an effort to be as responsive as possible, we took the throttling piece out for now, and we're going to gauge feedback based on what we hear from the marketplace. It is something we've heard before and something that we are well aware of, and then give you the ability to throttle the number of orders that you can get over a period of time. I don't know about 4 minutes, maybe every 15 or something like that, but I'll take that information away back to the product team to see where we're thinking with that. And again, like I said, it's going to be largely based off feedback from the marketplace with respect to our next move in this regard. So throttling was already near the top of the list, and hearing it again just reinforces the need for it.
Okay, that's great. Is there any option to show certain prep options online and not at the point of sale?
I believe that Encore may support that. However, JCM, Jonas Club Management, does not currently. The option there is really just to duplicate the sales item and, modify the preps on that new sales item, unfortunately, at this time. It's something I can take back to our product team, like I said, and and investigate the possibility of restricting preps for online ordering specifically.
Okay, that's great. Another question here, and folks, I do apologize. We've got a lot of questions, and I don't think we're going to be able to get to all of them today, but we're going to get through as many as we can here in the next few minutes. Rob, could you elaborate a little bit on how to suppress notes?
Yeah, it's really just a checkbox on the outlet setup. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's available in Encore today, and that may be why the question is coming up. If you're in JCM, and I can show you the JCM screen, it's really quite simple. It's suppress online notes here. And the same thing with the expand collapse is expanded collapse menu group default. But I'm not sure that either of those are supported in Encore today. They may be coming a little bit later.
Okay, that's great. A question here, you did mention that future orders will sit in the queue. So could you elaborate a little bit on how that works, and do they print directly on the day of?
No, there's no automation. Like I said, it's going to require monitoring of the queue for someone to fire them over to the preps. As of right now, there is no automation to fire those orders when the appropriate time arrives. So I guess the expectation would be something like 45, if the prep time is 45 minutes, immediately 45 minutes prior to the requested time to fire those orders. That's not currently in the product. It is something we considered, and maybe a little bit longer to come, but it is something that is on our roadmap. But as of right now, it requires someone to go into the queue and to send those chits over, or send those to the prep printers.
Okay. A quick question that just came in here, I noticed. I definitely wanted to address this one. Is the 2020 upgrade an additional cost? Absolutely not. For the record, all of our new releases are included in regular support and enhancement fees, so there's no cost to upgrade whatsoever. So if for any reason you're running a really old version, it's obviously in your club's best interest to get upgraded to the most recent. We add anywhere between 200 and 300 enhancements to the product in general every year, as well as make available a lot of new applications such as online ordering. So no, definitely no additional cost for upgrades. So good question here. I've seen this one come up a couple of times. Is there any future plans for making this available publicly?
Yeah, that's definitely something that we'll determine based on feedback. So if there's clubs opening up to the public where they want us the ability to submit orders, we will go down that road where we would have to handle it like we would do something like public tea times, where a user would have to register and then submit their order. It's not something we're actively considering at this time. And again, it's going to be driven by feedback from clubs. So like we do with everything we hear in terms of requests, it's largely us figuring out sort of, how it benefits the most people, what we think of it from a future sort of where the product is going, what direction we want to take it. So again, open to feedback on that one, and we'll consider it down the road. The tricky part with that is it's hard to guarantee payment. So with a member, you always have the ability to charge their account. If they've gone past their credit limit, or they don't have the ability they don't have signing privileges, they're not going to be able to place an order today. So it's the payment guarantee, and that takes us into the world of credit cards. So like I said, if we hear enough feedback, it is something we will definitely consider.
And that actually covers off another question that I saw pop up here in terms of just understanding how member payments are processed and how the actual how payment processing works with online ordering.
I mean, really, it's a matter of how they want to pay. So once it's into your point of sale, you have all the tender methods available to you. Obviously, member charge is the easiest, especially if a member not present. But alternatively, you can potentially take cash when they come to pick it up. Obviously, in a curbside or to-go scenario, curbside scenario or a delivery scenario makes it a little more difficult to take cash or take credit card at that point. But in any of the other, on-premises, halfway house, pickup, those do support basically any tender method because you are encountering the client. But right now, with a member not present, you're likely going down the road of a member charge.
Okay. I've seen this question come up a couple of times as well, Rob, and I know I've seen how some clubs are doing this already. But in terms of handling gratuities, what have you seen? How have you seen clubs handling that?
To be honest, I haven't encountered the gratuity scenario too many times. The only possible way to attend to it at this point, especially in a member not present scenario, is to have them submit a note if they wanted to leave a gratuity. Or the other option is adding auto-grats to the items themselves and charging a service charge or a gratuity automatically based on the sales item in the sales area.
Yeah, the auto-grats is a great option because obviously this is a value-added service and something that, you know, hopefully members would expect to be leaving a grat on top of the actual price. One of the options I have seen from one of our clients is actually adding a gratuity option as a menu item and then leaving, you know, having multiple prep options as individual gratuity amounts that they can add onto the order.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a bit of a workaround, but I thought it was pretty smart when I saw it done. Just trying to pick out a couple more questions here. So again, Rob, can you clarify what versions people need to be on to get the latest enhancements for online ordering?
Yeah, so it's the latest version of JCM 2020, which I believe starts with 2020.1014. It's the version currently available on our support site. If you're not currently running 2020, you're going to need to talk to our support group to get added to the list of clubs eligible to update to 2020. For Encore, it is version 20.6.1.0 or higher. So I think there's a 20.6.1.1 out there, and 20.6.2.0 will be out next week. So if you're going to get notified via our remote update agent that a new version is available to you, if you haven't already, to schedule an update. So you're not going to be notified about a version lower than which we include these features.
And we will be including the version numbers, version requirements in the email that goes out after this session, just so everyone's aware. We've got time for just a couple more questions here. A good one in terms of push notifications / emails. How exactly do those get sent out, and are they configured online or back office?
Configured in the back office. So you have to be running Clubhouse Online to do this. You will need the Clubhouse Online app in order to support push notifications. But as long as those are already configured, then it'll just be the matter of pressing a button in JCM in point of sale or in Encore in the queue to send out that push notification. The email is configured through the usual channel. So in Jonas Club Management, it's going to be in Jmail. And in Encore, it'll be done through the point of sale. There's the ability to configure an email notification. So using that form designer, you can send out, it'll send out both, either or both, depending on how you configure it. So you can say, I want to send email and push or just email, and it'll send out both, either or both in any case when you hit that button. And the email notification does allow for some configuration, whereas the push notification, given the character limits within a push notification, we've hard-coded it basically to just say your order is ready, the order number, as well as the outlet from which they purchased it.
Okay, that's great. Another quick one here, Rob. So again, just some clarification on the order ahead. Now, it does not go straight to the kitchen, correct? It is just queued, and an employee will be able to fire that shit at a later time.
Correct.
Okay.
One thing I wanted to mention about the order ahead, I did say that when the outlet is closed, you can order ahead. That is true, but the pickup time or the requested time can only be a time when the outlet is actually open. So people cannot order things for times when the outlet is not open. It's always governed by dates and times at which the outlet is open in terms of when the requested time for the order.
Someone here was just quickly asking how they get added to the update list. Again, you can contact our support team because version 2020 of JCM is still in advanced release. It's due out as general release, I believe, in September. Correct, Rob?
September or October, usually. Yeah.
So it's still technically in advanced release, even though it's been out there and available for close to a year now. Just contact our support team and let them know that you'd like to get on the advanced release. Let me just see here. Last question here. Is there a charge to this add-on? The online ordering application as a whole, yeah, it's there is an installation and a maintenance fee for online ordering. But in terms of these specific enhancements, if you already have online ordering, no, these are obviously included with the online ordering package. They come out and they'll be available to you at no charge. With that, folks, I really appreciate everyone's participation today. I do apologize that we have not had a chance to get to every single question in the Q&A. However, we will be taking a look at the questions in the Q&A afterwards and trying to follow up with folks. And in addition to that, you are always welcome to contact your local sales representative or our support teams if you have specific questions about online ordering, the latest enhancements, or anything to do with any of our products or services. So with that, I would like to thank everyone on the line for joining us today and wish you all the best, and hope that everyone stays safe, stays healthy, and hope that we get back to business as usual very soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.